All right. So the first thing I wanted everybody to hear on the call is that, um, I'm self-taught. Oh, I got one more crap. So nobody held my hand with this. Okay. So I didn't have there's Jimmy. I didn't have the benefit that you guys have of being able to work in this collaborative community and support each other. Okay. So my point in saying that is that you guys have the ability to dive into YouTube and start watching all kind of training videos to support yourself in this endeavor. And also diving deep into the Boomtown trainings, not just the on-demand trainings, but participating in some of the live trainings that are offered virtually through the site. It does baffle me that when you've got a tool this good that can make you this much money, that you don't master it. You don't want to learn everything about it. Like if I've got something that's a golden ticket, I'm going to do everything I can to master the technology. Okay. But the first thing I want to kick off this call with today, which is why it's so important. It's November 1st. Can anybody tell me why this day is so important?
Because what you do from here on now starts the new year.
100%. Our 2023 starts today. So important. And that's why it's so important for what you guys are doing, why you've agreed to participate in this program. I just can't tell you. I mean, and some of y'all need like to recommit to this program and get really, really serious about it. Because if you do, and the ones that do, all right, you're going to see agents putting together their best year ever, potentially their best year ever. If they stay consistent, consistency in real estate is the only magic bullet. It's undefeated. Consistency is undefeated in real estate. So that's the key to everything we do, is staying consistent. So you're going to see the agents in this program that stay consistent have their best year ever in real estate. Okay. I think there's also another important factor to kind of keep in mind here. Some people on this call want to be team leaders. They want to form teams, grow big teams. Okay. And I can tell you, if you guys don't master this piece of it, then I would hang it up, unless you're going to find some other avenue to grow the team. Like you're going to do, because this isn't the only avenue to feed a team, but teams need to be fed leads. So are you going to generate? In my mind, you need to be able to teach people how to generate leads, how to convert leads. Okay. So that when you are buying leads for team members, you can train them effectively on how to convert these leads. But any lead, no matter the source, okay, you need to develop a certain level of mastery so that you can pass on that knowledge. I want to warn anybody that is in this team building endeavor that if you are hiring people to do something you don't want to do, then they're going to sniff you out really early and figure out that the only reason you're forming a team is because you don't want to make the calls. You don't want to do the hard work. And so they'll bail on you in a heartbeat. So you need to walk the walk in addition to talking the talk. So that's really, really important. Okay. And some of you are on teams. So Devin, all right, you're on a team. You've got some training gaps that need to be filled today. Okay. And I'm gonna learn you on that. All right. So that's really important. I mean, everything you do, that's like the importance of holding time accountable. If you think about the way we spend every minute of every day from now until the end of the year is going to dictate how we start 2023. Okay. And unfortunately, there's agents that aren't participating in this program, that aren't even tuning into this coaching call, that don't understand that first point of today's call. And I just, I want to stress the fact that you guys may not understand that you are leaders. Okay. To somebody, you are a leader. To somebody, you're an example. So we should leave this call and communicate to every agent who will listen to us that 2023 starts today and how critical it is to start 2023 strong, because if we start at weak, we're going to finish at weak. So essentially, an agent who doesn't get their act together from now to the end of the year is going to just replicate the years past. Okay. And so many agents are not doing 2 deals a month. And I feel if you're doing under 2 deals a month, then you're a below average agent. Okay. And what we're teaching you here is to do, if you do it, if you stay consistent and you stay disciplined, you have the potential is to do 4+ deals a month, just in internet leads. Okay. So then you think about your sphere of influence. And again, I talk a lot about this broad vision. Okay. So if you get really, really busy with internet leads, your sphere of influence is going to notice, golly, Bert's busier than I've ever seen him. And it's going to help you maintain that top of mind awareness. So there's all these collateral benefits on top of the knowledge you're gaining in this program is going to make you a better listing agent. It is going to make you're going to perform better in a listing presentation because you're going to be able to talk intelligently about marketing and where leads come from. Make no mistake that sellers expect us as listing agents to show the property. So it is in our best interest to generate leads for every listing. The other thing is agents take listings with the sole intent, like everything they do is just to sell that one listing. They're not thinking about leveraging the listing into a big lead generation opportunity. And that's the biggest clickbait for leads in the industry right now is listings. Okay. All right, let's move on. All right. The next thing is your why. Okay. I understand this is tough. It's tough to stay consistent. A lot of y'all that I hear from love to give me excuses on this, that, the other thing. But the fact of the matter is you're not running your business like a business. You're treating it like a hobby, and it's going to pay you like one as long as you do that. So in order to develop this business owner mindset and start acting like a business owner, I feel like we would be remiss if we did not acknowledge the importance of tying your business to something you are passionate about. Because most of you are not working with passion. You know, you're not obsessed. Like you should be obsessed with Boomtown, obsessed with it. Like can't wait for every live training opportunity they do, waiting on the edge of your seat for every, new product update or new initiative they have at the company. Just trying to master blogging and master real estate marketing and look for other avenues by which realtors are generating free or organic leads. Okay. So when you're just kind of sitting on your hands and taking it easy and leaning on me to do everything for you, set up your e-alerts, categorize your leads, it just tells me like you just kind of wanting something for nothing, or you're not taking the program seriously. And there's a lot riding on this for every one of y'all individually and then corporately. Okay. So taking some responsibility is really, really important. But I tell you one thing, I've been doing this a long time, and I am sick and tired of agents, deflecting and making excuses about why they can't do this or why they can't do that. Or really, this could be a painful statement, dishonoring your why. So you may have a why that you feel like you're connected to, but in my opinion, if you are not time blocking for prospecting 5 days a week, I don't really necessarily care what 5 days that is, you're dishonoring your why. Okay. We all know, right, that real estate has this feast or famine roller coaster cycle. Okay. So either you're flush with cash or you're broke as a joke. Okay. The only way to trade this for this, just to remain steady, keep your business steady, keep your pipeline steady, is to not take your foot off the gas. Okay. Now, there's a couple people on this call who have admitted to me that the reason they could not get more done last week is because they were consumed with one opportunity. One FSBO open house, one buyer showing them property and writing offers and negotiating contracts. If you can't handle more than one client at a time or one potential opportunity at a time, your business is going to keep doing this. Okay. So a lot of y'all need to work on time management. A lot. And I sit back and wonder, I'm like, what are these people? I wish I could follow y'all around every minute of every single day. Because I sit back and wonder, like, what the heck are y'all doing all day? Like, I feel like I can work circles around everyone on this call with the amount that I get done every day. So it tells me there's no time management. You guys are still being, for the most part, you're being the flag and not the wind. Okay. The flag is at the mercy of the wind. You should be the wind and not the flag, but you just going wherever the wind blows you. Okay. You are still a reactive agent and not a proactive agent. Okay. So you've got to get routine. I'm talking mundanely so, routine and regimented and disciplined, and not take your foot off the gas pedal. Be consistent with this every single day. And if you do that, you have the potential. I think the record we have for the most closed internet leads in a 12-month period is 48. Okay. So multiply 48 by your average commission so far this year. It's a lot of money. And that's not taking into account all the other ripple effect opportunities that are going to come your way because you are such a proactive, mega producing real estate agent. Okay. So tie your business to something that you're passionate about. And then if you are not consistent and you are not disciplined, you're not sticking to your schedule, you're blowing off your time block for prospecting, you're dishonoring your why, which means it ain't your why. You don't care about it enough. So just a one little kind of side story, I was in Nashville last week for a real estate conference. Okay. And there was a guy on the stage who was talking about how his real estate team tied the production of their business to how they tied the production of their real estate business to something everybody really cared about. And it was like Habitat for Humanity or something. They started building houses or really serving the community. And all the team members got out there and picked up a hammer and a nail and met the homeowner and, just participate, saw the emotion of what they were doing as a real estate team. And their production just went through the roof. They're like, wow, the more deals we close, the more houses, the more shelter we can provide for people in need. And just seeing the tears and the smiles and the joy from the moms to the kids, it just lit a fire under them. So what is going to light a fire under you? If you guys put a stop on everything this week and stopped lead generating and stopped doing business altogether, you just took a sabbatical, okay? You packed a bag, you went somewhere, you went for a hike in the woods, I don't care. But you got somewhere quiet and peaceful where you could connect to what really drives you and what you're really passionate about. That would be a huge win, okay? Because most of y'all are just kind of going through the motions, like, kind of, whatever. I'll humor Jason. What's $20 a month? Okay, but there's a massive opportunity here. Okay, like the example you set, one of the ripple effects of this is you can inspire another agent to join this program. And by joining this program, they're able to buy their first new car, smell that new car scent, buy their first house, buy their first rental property, pay off their student loans. On and on and on and on and on. That's pretty cool. Okay. But y'all got to take some ownership and stop acting like hobbyists. It's really bad. Okay. If you own a retail shop, okay. So Burt Youngblood, you're going to open up a green egg store. You're going to sell green eggs. All right. But you're only going to show up sometimes. So when people come to buy a green egg, sometimes you're there and sometimes you're not. You're going out of business real fast. That's how y'all act. All right. One of y'all on this call was talking about a sick child. If your child gets sick, they better be deathly ill. They better need round the clock care. And you're that nurse. Because if you're a business owner, I mean, people get sick. You see what I'm saying? I mean, y'all use any excuse to go, I'm out, clocked out, got to do this, got to run these errands. I hope I'm reaching some of y'all today because it's you need it. You need to hear this. All right. All right. So connect to what drives you. Really connect to what drives you. It's something you want to own or experience that you're going to need money for. Maybe you've got a child you want to send to college. Maybe you've got a family member who is dealing with some health problems, is going to have trouble paying their medical bills. You have the power to be the solution for your problems and the problems of others. You have the ability to create a legacy, okay, of wealth and teach people how to actually run a business like a business and not like a hobbyist, okay? All right, next on my list is Boomtown Mastery. Listen, we've touched on this already, so we'll go quick through it. But the second phase of this is database management. And I wish there was somebody on this call that would raise their hand and go, this is honestly why I have not taken Boomtown seriously and learned everything about it.
I'm lazy.
Okay, so lazy. What do you, how good does lazy pay?
Doesn't pay a lot. That's why I started taking it serious this morning after you and I chat yesterday.
So this is why it's so important to connect to what drives you. And it's really important to be honest with yourself and to reflect on what the issue actually is. So we had a member of our real estate team. Okay. And she was probably giving it 50%. She's putting 50% effort into it. Okay. She reached a place in her business. It was around Easter, right around Easter. And she describes this as she gave herself a kick in her own ASS. Okay. She needed to do that. She needed to take ownership of what she was doing right and what she was doing wrong and what, where she was missing the mark. It's really important. That's a powerful statement. Like I'm lazy. I've been lazy. I've been blowing it off. And listen, I want to give you guys some grace too. Okay. Because I do understand that you're really not going to believe it. You're really not going to buy into this program until you start seeing some success. And we're going to talk about some success that's happening because it's very, very real. And that's going to create more of a buy-in for a lot of you is to go, oh man, Jimmy is crushing it. Devin's crushing it. I need to do what they're doing. I need to get more serious about this. Okay. Managing your database is really, really, really important. All right. So you want to put your leads in your proper category. So a new lead that comes in, we want to immediately pick up the phone as fast as possible. Okay. So speed to lead is critical. There's an MIT study on this, and you can Google MIT speed to lead study and look at all the data they collected. All right. But it's real. So it's not always possible to call a lead within 5 minutes of them registering. I get it. But you just need to understand the longer you wait, the less likely you are to convert that lead into a contact. All right. That's gospel. Okay. So they're registering on anywhere from 3 to 5 additional websites. So the first agent, there's a lot of NAR data out there that suggests that the first agent that makes contact with somebody, and doesn't matter where that lead source is, it could be an expired or FISBO or whatever, they win the business. Okay. So understanding like how that stuff works, really, really important. If the lead does not pick up the phone, there's no two-way dialogue. We haven't had a conversation with them about what their time frame is, what their price range is, where their target zip codes are. We just need to do the best we can and take a guess. Okay. So I look at, their search patterns, and I just set up a system alert. I use the system alert, and the system alert only works if they run a search on the website. Okay. So if they haven't done any searching on the website, I'm just going to set them up on a search and hope that that prompts them to respond to me and go, Jason, that's not what I'm looking for. We need to make some adjustments to the search. Okay. So every new lead that comes in, we make a phone call and we set up an e-alert and we move it to qualify. Phone call, e-alert, qualify every time. All right. The last thing we need to do is set a to-do. All right. So this is why like this call is like extremely important, because probably ain't none of y'all set up to-dos. And the to-do is just a follow-up reminder. Okay. So remember, this is part of the value proposition of a CRM. Okay. So the CRM stands for Client Relationship Management. Okay. You cannot properly manage, AKA nurture, a database if you're not being consistent with your communication. All right. Now, once you're going to continue to follow up with these qualified leads, we need to get the total touches up to around 15. All right. And so those 15 touches, this is what I mean. Like if you have touched a lead 15 times by calling, texting, emailing, and maybe even a social media DM. So if all those add up, and the majority of those 15 need to be phone calls, I really feel like if those 15 touches, if at least 6 to 8 of those are not phone calls, you're screwing up. Okay. So it's heavy phone calls, light texting and emailing. Once you get the person on the phone, you can ask them, hey, how do you like to be contacted? Probably a lot of them are going to tell you text, but we don't want to go into this text thing and we don't want to lean on it too much. But we want to figure out how people like to be contacted and meet them where they are. All right. But until then, it's a lot of heavy phone work. All right. And we're also going to talk towards the end of this call about relational versus transactional prospecting. So Devin, what you've been doing, this is one of the gaps I think that I'm going to fill in your training, is that you're approaching this from a purely transactional standpoint. Okay. So switching this from transactional to relational is going to change the game. All right. After we get the leads on the phone, in addition to asking them things like how they want to be contacted, we want to, figure out what their time frame is. And so like Devin has a lead, says, oh, I'm not looking for 6 months. Okay. So does that mean we stop communicating with the lead? We don't take them seriously? No, it means once we get them on the phone, we go, well, listen, I'd love to just stay in touch with you at least once a month. And here's just to kind of skip down to do transactional versus relational. What you all should write down in your notes is that every lead that you convert into a contact, on the way to building a relationship with that lead, you should know at least three personal things about that lead. All right. Where were they born? Where were they raised? What do they do for a living? What's their favorite color? Okay. You should know things about these. Let's go back to CRM. All right. Client relationship management. The key word here is relationship. So if you're calling these people and every time you follow up with them, you're asking if they're ready to buy, you ready to start searching? You ready to start getting more active with this search? You're screwing up. You're screwing up. Okay. And for better or worse, I use this analogy all the time when I'm trying to describe this. Okay. So Adam, if on your first date with Lindsay, You said, let's get married. She probably going to get up and walk out. I mean, the appetizers haven't even hit the table yet. And you're going, let's get hitched. Or, hey, I got a hotel room around the corner. You want to get out of here? She ain't, that's it. There's no Lindsay and Adam. There's no marriage. There's no nothing. She's like, this guy is a psycho. I'm out of here. That's what y'all are doing to these leads when you constantly call them going, hey, you ready to buy, ready to sell, ready to buy, ready to sell? They're just thinking all this person wants is a hookup. Okay. They don't care about the relationship, and relationships are where our referrals come from. And this is a relationship business that is powered by referrals. And so we need to be thinking about every lead as a potential to build a very deep relationship that produces a lifetime of value in the form of referrals. Okay. All right. Got it. All right. There are other Boomtown categories outside of qualify are hot, nurture, and watch. Hot, nurture, and watch. So you guys have freedom. I'm giving you freedom, but you need to decide, okay, what these categories mean to you. If you go through the Boomtown training, they're going to tell you what they think, how they think you should be categorizing these leads. But you have the freedom to do this on your own. You just need to know what it is and have it committed to memory and stick to it. So for me, if somebody's looking to buy in the next 90 days or less, they're hot. To you, it might be 6 months. I don't know. But you define that and you stick to it. For me, nurture means they're outside. They're like outside that 90-day window. They're more like 6 months out. Nurture. Watch to me is like over a year. And if I've made these 15 touches to these leads that are in qualify and I can't get them on the phone and they're not returning to the site, then I move them to archive or trash. I get rid of them. Okay. So, and their drip stays, their e-alert stays on, because we've had leads that are in archive and trash come back 5 years later and want to buy. Okay. Heather Bullock's got a $1 million something or other under contract from a lead that was in our Boomtown system for like 7 years. Okay. Any questions so far before we move on?
Yeah, what was that? You said phone call, e-alert, and I couldn't write fast enough. What was the third thing?
So when the new lead comes in, it's phone call, e-alert, and then you move it to qualify.
Okay.
All right. But if you get the lead on the phone, then you want to start asking them questions about what their time frame is. And so a lot of them are just going to tell you they're just looking, and we're going to get to, I've got the script call next on my list. Okay. This is another thing where people in this program are just not logging on to the script call, which is just a travesty, in my opinion. Okay. So you need to learn how to talk to these leads. Now, one thing I'm going to warn you about the script call is that it is in a lot of ways, it is very transactional. Okay. There's a lot of objection handling and a lot of transactional role playing going on. And I can tell you, a lot of agents don't like scripts. I'm not a huge fan of scripts. I don't want to sound like a robot. And that's why it's just important to master the fundamentals of objection handling. For example, all it is committing, you having an instinctual response that you've memorized. Like you're like, if somebody says this is how I respond. And you have that committed to memory, and it needs to sound like you. It needs to, be a reflection of your individuality, your personality. But the biggest objection we're going to get by these leads is, I'm just looking. And if you respond in this way, well, great. I'm so glad that you're finding our website helpful and you're looking, you just keep looking, and I'm here if you ever need any help. Just feel free to reach out if you need anything. Have a great day. Goodbye. So you might as well go to the bank, take out $5,000, find your nearest toilet, and flush it down the drain. Because that's what you're doing. All right. You need to extend the conversation. Have something committed to memory that you immediately respond with. And the beautiful thing about this is Once you do this enough, very seldomly are you going to get hit with a curveball. Like somebody coming out of left field with an objection you just weren't prepared for. They all say the same things. And most of them say, I'm just looking. Now, the best practice to handle objections, like the first thing you need to do, and I call this a brake pumping moment. Okay. So a brake pumping moment gives you a chance to kind of gather yourself, collect your thoughts, because like even the most practiced and rehearsed and prepared prospectors are going to run into this where they're just having an off morning or something, or, they're distracted, whatever it is. So that brake pump can kind of gives you just a fraction of a second to get refocused, but it's validation. Brake pump is validation. So you just validate it. So they say, I'm just looking. Oh, great. Well, I love it. I love to look too. Oh my gosh, I love that you're finding our website so helpful. I love our website too. I'm always on there. I'm obsessed with owning a condo one day. So I'm always looking for an ideal condo investment. Hey, what are you looking for? What do you like to look at? What's your dream home? So I've got this crazy TikTok video where I talk about I go ask more questions. I mean, the agent that asks the questions is going to control the conversation. People want to work with people that make them feel important. And there's a whole other side of this. If we want to build a relationship, so let's go back to Adam and Lindsay's first date. All right. So Adam says, I want to get his first thing out of his mouth is, let's stop wasting time. Let's get married, or let's stop wasting time. Let's hit this hotel room around the corner. There ain't no Lindsay and Adam. That's it. Done. He just end of story. She gets up and walks out, hits a fast food restaurant on the way home and never answers Adam's calls again. Now, if Adam sits down at this date and starts asking Lindsay a bunch of questions, wants to really get to know her. Where did she grow up? Did she play sports? What schools did she go to? What makes Lindsay Lindsay? And he's really interested in this. He's asking questions and he's listening. Then she's going to go, wow, this guy cares about me. I think this is somebody I'd like to get to know more. Same thing with these leads, y'all. Take an interest in them. Ask questions with the intent of learning more about these people. And then you just don't want to listen. You want to write it down. Okay. So some agents, as the leads are talking, they're typing in what the person's saying into the notes in Boomtown. So part of what makes this powerful is that, so Boomtown basically creates a summary record of all your interaction with a lead. If you text through the site, it saves the text. If you email through the site, it saves the emails. And if you make these notes, it's all stored in there so you can reflect on it. So if it's been, some of these leads are going to be, I've had plenty of people that have registered on the site that have told me that, they're not going to be ready to move down from Ohio for like 3 more years after, the husband retires or the wife retires or whatever it is. So most agents would go, okay, no need to talk to this person for a while. All right. But I look at it differently. It's not about exactly what they are looking to do individually. It's about who do they know? Who else do they know that wants to move away from the snow, 6 months of snow out of the year? Okay. But with those leads, you're not going to probably call them every month. You may call them once a quarter. And with all the other leads you're generating, you're going to forget why she's moving, what her husband does for a living, what her kids and grandkids' names are, if you don't write it down. And referring back to that while you're on the call with this grandma, she's going to be like, wow, Devin really listens. Like, how does he remember that? I haven't talked to him in like 3 or 4 months. So it's just going to be a powerful thing, right? And the to-dos in the Boomtown system are going to keep you calling consistently. You say, hey, Miss Grandma Jones, is it okay if I call you, or I'll talk to you next quarter, or talk to you in 3 months or whatever. and you call exactly to the day that you said you were going to do, you're establishing credibility, okay, as a really, as a professional. Now, as a professional and somebody who does what they say they're going to do when they say they're going to do it. That's one of those like key foundational pieces of being a salesperson. All right, script call. All right, if you don't know how to get on the script call, I want you to reach out to me, but I continually, sometimes I send you guys the graphic for it individually, and sometimes I post it publicly, but you guys need to get this written down somewhere up and visible so that you're on it. I would say at least 2 days a week, at least 2 days a week. Okay. Gary Keller, top 100, recognizes the top 100 most influential people. He's in the top 100 and typically at the top of that list every single year. Says that one of the most important things real estate agents can do is master the language of sales. You're not going to master the language of sales unless you get into mastery with other agents that are committed to mastering the language of sales. The other part of this is I don't know any other brokerage that does a morning script call. So this is a value proposition very unique to us that we should be reaching out to other agents at other brokerages going, hey, iron sharpens iron. Come on in here. So it's a way to grow our brokerage. All right. And so from you, what you all will see is the more we grow as a brokerage, the more listings we have to promote, the more leads that are going to come in. So that's not looking at it from a narrow point of view. That's broadening the lens. All right. One of the reasons Bert, I really want Bert to make it in this is because most real estate agents, you know, the average age of a real estate agent is 58. So most real estate agents are either 58 years old and above. And most of those agents that are 58 years old and above feel like they're too old. They've missed the boat on this. Or they're like, oh, I'm going to only be doing this another 5 or 10 more years. So there's no point in me trying to learn all this tech crap. But if Bert shows that he can do it, holy cow, is that going to be powerful? Is he going to inspire a lot of agents his age, younger and older? Okay. Speed to lead, lack of speed kills. We've already touched on that on this call and the MIT study. But what I will tell you, one of my favorite quotes, and it's up on the wall in the office I'm in right now, is, success favors speed of implementation. I see some of y'all moving so slow. Success favors speed. Hurry up. Get a move on, okay? As we've said, November 1st, 2023 started today for real estate agents. I mean, how we spend every minute of every day from now until the end of the year is extremely important. And somebody is counting on you for provision. All right, Devin, you want to get married. True or false?
True.
Okay. Guess what women seek in a mate?
Success.
Yeah. Yeah, it's very attractive. Okay. All right. So time blocking is next. All right. Here's one of the big things I've seen you guys, a lot of you, I should say, dropping the ball on. Okay. And you don't have a proper order of priority. Okay. So this is going to be a very shocking statement. All right. But I want you guys just to kind of hear me out. I believe that time blocking for prospecting, so having a 1 hour to 2 hour block of time when all you're doing is making lead calls and following up with people, that's more important than a showing appointment. Okay. Is that a controversial statement? So let's unpack that. What does that mean? All right. And here's what, before we get to that, here's what I'm telling you to do. All right. So there's some people that should be on this call right now that told me they were going to be on this call right now. What's that? Hold on.
Can you send this Zoom link to Jamie? She thought it was live in person. She's in the other room. Or do you want her to come in here?
You can show her how to log on. Same things.
No, I don't know which link you're on. We tried.
Oh, you did?
Yeah.
All right. Well, it's too late right now, I think.
Yeah, thank you.
All right. That should be on this call right now, but it prioritized something else over this call. To me, there's no other priority than being on this call because you're learning things that are going to change your life and change the life of others. So I'm telling you to do is you got your prospect, you're prospecting, you're looking at this time block as an appointment. It's an appointment that you have to protect. A lot of people talk about time blocking. They refer to it as protecting your bunker. All right. So what's a bunker do? This is a military term. Anybody know what a bunker does?
Come on, Jimmy.
Provide safety and security.
Yeah.
There you go.
Okay. All right. There we go. All right. So it provides safety and security. And so that's what I want you to think about this time block. It's your bunker. All right. But a lot of times these leads are our clients and past clients and sphere of influence. They're going to need us during this time period, or you may have a lead that flies in. This happens all the time. I don't know, for whatever reason, I think you should be reminding your people that you're talking to on the phone, like, hey, give me some notice for when you're coming into town so I can make sure that my schedule is clear to show you homes. I don't know what this is. This is some phenomenon, but Devin, it especially happens with condo buyers. They just show up and they expect your schedule to be totally clear. So this is going to happen. So all I'm asking you to do is to tell this client, I'm so sorry, but I have an appointment from 9 to 10. Would it be possible for us to meet at 10:30? And if they say no, I'm flying out at 11:30. I got this tight window. I got to see this property at 9. Then you go to the showing appointment. Does that make sense? So again, this is just we're pumping the brakes and going, whoa, I'm so sorry, but I've already got an appointment on the books for 9. Is there any way that I could meet you after lunch or later in the morning? So just make an effort to protect that time because it's way, way, way more important. And it's how you break this feast or famine roller coaster cycle and stay on this very steady trajectory upward. Okay. So this would mean after this call, you go to your Google Calendar or whatever you use and you block out this time. I will tell you, like I told you, it doesn't have to be Monday through Friday. All right. But I think it should, because there's a lot more distractions during the weekends than there is during the week. I mean, during the week, we're really more focused on work. But I can tell you that an excellent time to call is from anywhere from 9 to noon. So pick an hour or two, anywhere from 9 to noon or 3 to 6 on Sundays. And actually 4 to 6 in the afternoon, any afternoon of the week, other than a Saturday, is a great time to call because you're going to get more people on the phone. The only reason why we recommend call time blocks, prospecting time blocks before noon is just to get it out of the way, because it is such a, it's like the least fun thing that we do. It's the least popular thing that we do. Phone prospecting is very rarely, and you'll meet some of these wackos in our industry, but they do exist. That just love making phone calls. All right. And typically with those agents, they love money and they're making a ton of it. But for most of us, it's just a pain in the butt, but it's what we got to do.
What were them times again? Monday through Friday, 9 to 12, 4 to 6?
Yeah. So the reason we recommend like a time frame, like from 9 to noon, picking an hour or two out of there, it's like going to the gym, right? Every trainer you talk to will say, listen, best thing we can do is meet first thing in the morning. Just get it out of the way. All right. There's books about this called Eat That Frog. All right. But I would recommend if you guys could do this, it'd be really, really powerful, is have like 1 day a week when you do a 4 to 6 call time, or 3 to 6 on Sunday. So that Sunday afternoon, you could be like, hey, this is like getting this routine. Every Sunday afternoon, I'm spending an hour or two on the phone. You're going to get way more people on the phone from 4 to 6. Now, let's address the elephant in the room, because we've got, agents like, Shelby probably would be thinking this, that I don't want to call people at 4 to 6 because I'm a mom, and from 4 to 6, I'm cooking dinner, I'm helping kids with the homework. One of the things that's a kiss of death in the real estate industry is not wanting to bother people. And a more specific way to refer to that is thinking more as a consumer and less like a business owner. All right. We don't need to think like consumers. Here's the fact. Motivated people want to work with motivated agents. All right. And agents don't want to bother other agents. There's a 87% chance that most agents will fail. A lot of those agents fail because they just didn't want to bother people. They didn't want to bother people in their office and ask them questions about how they got to be successful. And they don't want to bother people because they feel like, they just worked a long day and now they're having to come home and cook and clean and help with the homework. And last thing they want to do is hear from a realtor. That's true unless they're motivated. All right. And our job is to find the motivated. It's a lot of the reasons why successful prospectors gamify this. They understand this is a game. This is a game that we're playing with people. So mastering people is a big part of our success. Okay. But I'm telling you, I'm not going to let a total stranger stand in the way of my success. And that's what a lot of y'all are doing. You're afraid of people you don't know. And you're letting that fear get in the way of things that you really, really want, like a big boat. Okay. So if you want a big boat, Devin, big boat, you can put a lot of people on it. All right. Think about that. What female doesn't want to go for a boat ride? Okay. Order of priority. So you guys need to set this time block on your schedule, set it in stone and protect it every day. See it for what it really is. All right. Okay. The next thing on my list, the good news is I've only got 3 more bullet points and then I'll open it up for questions. The next thing on my list is e-alerts. Okay. You got to set up your e-alert, and agents struggle with this because sometimes a lead looks at only one property. Sometimes they look at one property in multiple cities and you're like, well, gosh, Bay Minette is not really close to Bon Secure. So I don't really know what's going on with this lead. Like, why is their search so all over the place? Or they could be looking in Mobile County and Baldwin County and you're like, good Lord. So what you need to do is just try to find some common denominators. So try to find, if they've got 2 homes in the same city or same subdivision, that's some good data for you to use. If they only look at one home, they just set them up for, what do we call that? A bracketed price search. Okay. So if the home is $250,000 in Foley, Alabama, then I'm going to set up a 200 to 300 search in Foley, Alabama, and save it. And if I'm wrong, again, this is what might give them another reason to reach back out to me and go, hey, Devin, this is not where I'm not looking in Foley at all. Okay, great. Well, where are you looking? All right. Then we're starting this dialogue. Okay. So transactional versus relational. I really feel like we pretty well covered that. You need to ask a lot of questions of these people, really get to know them. If you don't know 3 personal things about your leads that you're in communication with, you're not doing it right. And I talk to a lot of agents that get very, very uncomfortable once they've probably been doing this about 3 months. These are like agents on our mentorship team, even though we're pounding in their brains, relational over transactional. It's just like transactional is just our natural default. Okay. And they start to feel awkward about constantly following up with people every week or every month or every quarter going, hey, where are you at in the process? You think you're ready to make a trip down to, Shrimp Fest is coming up. You want to come down and look at some condos? It starts to get very, very uncomfortable. And that's all the value. That's the depth of the relationship. Is you ready or not? Not how you doing? How's the mama and them? How the kids? What y'all got planned for the holidays? And I use a seasonal approach to my prospecting calls. All right. So every time of year, there's something going on. So fall, hey, you going to any football games this season? Thanksgiving, what you guys got planned for Thanksgiving? You're making a trip, you having the family over. What's your favorite dish? What do you love to cook? What's like your signature dish? You like use some crazy good turkey fryer? You make incredible, casseroles, whatever it is. Christmas, where y'all going? What y'all doing? Y'all going snow skiing? Got any trips planned? What are the kids going to be doing with their break? Y'all traveling anywhere special? And if they say, yeah, we're going to Breckenridge to go snow skiing, and you actually would love to learn, you like always wanted to go to Breckenridge, the next thing I'm saying to him is like, oh my gosh, I would love to call you. Like when you getting back, I'd love to call you a couple days after you get back and hear all about it. I mean, wife and I have been talking about going to Breckenridge for years. Love to hear about your experience. See what I'm doing here? Spring break. Where are you guys going for spring break? If they have kids, where you guys got anything planned for Memorial Weekend? What's going on over the summer, 4th of July, Labor Day? Just kind of all flows. All right. Yeah, I'll tell you this one story before we move on to the last one. The last one is on content. It's going to take us a little bit, but Blake Ray closed this lead one time. And I was encouraging him to invite the client to lunch or coffee after the sale. And one of the things we were going to do, one of our strategies that I was trying to get him to implement was our people that we work with that are small business owners, after the sale, start really trying to learn a lot about their business and help them promote that business to just provide a future value proposition. And he didn't even know what the guy did for a living. Work with this guy for weeks, over a month, get him closed. And he's like, Jason, I don't even know what the guy does for a living. Turns out the guy works for like a big, AC repair company in Mobile. Huge opportunity to help him gain more business. So you feeling my pain? Content. Okay. So one of the things I'm doing for the agents that are in this program is I'm helping you create the content. And what I'm focused on, I want you guys focused on these 4 areas of content. Okay. So this is where our leads are going to come from: Craigslist, Facebook Marketplace, Craigslist, Facebook Marketplace, YouTube, and blogging. All right. And I have a pretty serious caveat to the blog thing that I'm pretty well dead set on, because one thing that we were doing is I was encouraging agents to use their KV Core blog to drive traffic to their Boomtown websites. But so I posted a couple blogs on KV Core. I posted one for Muncher. There's really no SEO capability of the KV Core blog. So what I think I'm going to do over the next day or two is probably recommend one or both of these blog sites, either a WordPress blog or a Wix blog, probably WordPress, because it has more search engine optimization capability, which is just what we're trying to do. The whole purpose of a blog is to be found in Google. All right. So YouTube is a way to do that. And YouTube is in a lot of ways, a blog platform. But what we're talking about here is this concept of backlinking. All right. So if I'm on a blog that Bert has written about, maybe he might write a blog about, growing up in Mobile or living in Mobile the last 20 years, rather. I'm really been trying to encourage Samantha to write a blog about Pelham. If you want to sell more homes in Pelham, then you need to create a lot of content about the lifestyle in Pelham. Okay. So we want to be found when people understanding like their search patterns is really important. So people tend to start their search like on Zillow, online looking at properties when they get really serious. And I'm talking about like relocation people predominantly. When they get really serious, or it could be local because they could just be focused on a subdivision. But when they get really serious about buying, then they start using Google and they start looking for content related to the lifestyle of a community. What's the community event calendar look like? What are the most popular community events? What is there fun to do? What kind of outdoor activities are there? Do they have some good restaurants? People, want to typically live places where there's some good food. Live music might be another priority of folks. So you want to write articles on all these type of things because it's valuable to the consumer, people moving here. And when you create enough of this content, then you are establishing yourself as an expert in this area. So, got a couple agents in St. Clair County, you need to start writing content on St. Clair County. But when people are reading, so in the middle, imagine a 4-paragraph blog on the Shrimp Festival, okay? And in the middle of that blog is a call to action. And it just says, hey, if you'd like to see what's currently on the market in Gulf Shores, Alabama, here's a helpful link to follow to my website. So there's a call to action to go, hey, if you're reading this blog on the Shrimp Fest, but you're also kind of curious about what real estate's going for in the area, here's a link to my website. It's going to take you to all the active listings, current active listings in Gulf Shores, Alabama. So they found this link on a WordPress site that linked back to your Boomtown site. And Google's going to go, wow, there's stuff on this Boomtown site that consumers that are using my search engine are finding valuable. They're going back to this website constantly. So Google will elevate your website in the search engine, which is going to bring in more organic leads. All right. And I'll also say this, okay? You guys, if you're kind of paying attention, you know that as an industry, we're spending hundreds of millions of dollars on leads. And I don't know what this is about agents, whether it's a peace of mind thing, they're not converting these leads. Most of these agents are just emailing and texting these leads. They're not calling them. They're not setting them up on e-alerts, and they're not, consistently following up with them. So the conversion rate stinks, and they're not getting much value out of it. So I don't know why they continue to spend this money. But one of the reasons I'm encouraging you guys to start off with the free lead generation opportunity is, number one, to see that it's really viable. Like I was telling, Jimmy, that, the first win here is just to show you like, hey, what's possible? Like, this is possible. All right. The second win is to actually show property, turn one of these into an actual opportunity. And then of course, next is get something under contract. And then the next phase is get something closed. But I can tell you, I started this call up by saying, like, I taught myself how to do this through webinars, trainings, YouTube videos, and I would go home and play with it. And I would start generating leads. And then once I closed one of those leads and I could trace it back to a YouTube video or a blog or a Craigslist ad or a Facebook post, I was hooked. I was like, wow, I got to create more content. All right. So this is the kind of the process. I'm just taking you guys on, in a sense, my journey that I went on. I want you guys to become obsessed with content, with mastering Boomtown, with mastering the language of sales, because it's going to change your life and change the lives of others that are looking to you as the example. All right. So I'll be in touch on the blog, but I will tell you this, okay? Every listing that you take needs to be blogged about at the very least. I mean, just if we can set aside the lifestyle stuff for a hot minute, but we cannot not blog about every listing we take from this point forward. That should be part of your value proposition in a listing appointment. And so this is, again, that broad lens, the congruency of all this. Imagine you're sitting in a listing appointment, and most of you guys have probably not experienced this, and marketing hasn't been important the last 2 years. And you just didn't have to market to sell listings. But if I was still an active agent through the COVID market, I still would have kept on marketing. Why would I have kept on marketing? Can somebody please answer that question? What have I lost by not marketing at a high level through COVID? Marketing my listings at a high level through COVID?
Well, probably brand recognition.
Yes, brand recognition. Having you're not consistent. Okay. And the other thing is the main thing these agents are doing, the mistake they're making is that when they take a listing, so all Shelby's done her whole career up until this point is take listings with the sole intent of selling that listing, not leveraging that listing into other additional opportunities. And that's the mistake they've made, is they haven't blogged and they haven't put it on Craigslist. They're like, oh, it'll sell before I even have time to get it on Craigslist. Look at how much I care. It's ridiculous. All right. This is all about building a pipeline. And I have not said this yet on this call, but this is like a big goal. This is building a pipeline that feeds you 365 days a year. It's one of the reasons why agents most of our industry is taking their foot off the gas pedal right now, because they just don't have the pipeline. All right. And so this is one benefit of doing this, is so that you just don't ever have a slow month. There's always something going on. There's always some opportunity to follow up on, because you have this really robust pipeline. And this is, let's just go through this again. I go through this a lot, but let's just do it one more time and then we'll move on and try to close this thing out. But most agents take their foot off the gas fourth quarter. Fourth quarter is the most important quarter, because how we finish determines how we start. But most agents, they work so hard second and third quarter that fourth quarter, they feel like they've earned to take some time off. Whew, exhausted. Need to recharge my batteries. Well, we know that now, November 1st to the end of the year, everything we do, every seed we plant is going to be ready for harvest that first quarter of next year. So these agents that take their foot off the gas pedal, they're just going to, after the New Year's Eve hangover wears off, then they're just going to get back on that treadmill and they're going to sprint, because they got to get their business built back up, because nothing's going on. No pipeline, no showings, nada. All right. So then second quarter, they get their business reestablished. It's running like a well-oiled machine. All right. And same thing through third quarter. Then they're exhausted, take fourth quarter off. This crazy hereditary cycle of insanity repeats itself. All right. You guys need to be paying attention to my Craigslist ads. What does the structure of that Craigslist ad look like so that you can replicate it? All right. I'm only doing this. I'm only creating these ads for you in the short term. I just want to show you that it's viable. You have to take it over. All right. You have to start doing it. So you're going to have to start probably adding a time block to your schedule for posting ads, creating and publishing content, so you stay consistent with it. All right. Same with Facebook Marketplace. Pay attention to how I post on Marketplace. If you need me to send you a link to a Craigslist ad or a Marketplace ad, just say so, okay? And I'll post it in the ecosystem. YouTube. Okay, so this is going to go in some phases. Okay, so what I really want to do is I want to spend time with each of you in the field, showing you how to create content. Okay, so I want to go back to the seller blog. I've got a seller marketing questionnaire that I'll send to each of you if you need it. Some of you probably already have it. But if you need it, you want it, request it, I'll give it to you. But I'm essentially asking the sellers to write this blog for me. Okay. Now, here's where we're going to start. I'm going to insert one of those broad views again. So during the crash of 2008, okay, so 2008, most of 2009, brutal to work with sellers. This was a period where it took, the average days on market was like over 6 months. Okay. Imagine that. Most sellers had to bring money to closing. Buyers beat the crap out of them. Oh, we want the bar stools. We want your tractor. You want us to buy this house. We want everything. You just take your clothes and get out. It was a rough time for sellers. So I used it as kind of like a research project and really started talking to sellers about their prior experience with agents. What did they appreciate about their prior agent experiences, and what did they not appreciate so much? What part of the process do they want to be more involved in? Where are agents getting it right and getting it wrong? And one of the things a lot of these sellers told me is that they said, I would love to be more a part of the marketing process. These agents come in, they tour my home, they make some notes, and then they write these listing descriptions based on what they think are the selling features, what they think are the best amenities, what they think are the best, rooms in the house. They didn't ever ask me what I thought. And I'm the most qualified person to sell this home because I've lived in it the last 10 years. All right. So when you sit down and let's say you're interviewing a seller face to face, which is like what I highly, highly recommend. It's so awesome. I mean, you could do this at the listing appointment. You could say, Mr. Seller, I'm ready to get started marketing this house right away. And the first thing I'd love to do is interview you on everything about this house, every top selling feature. I want to hear about every dollar you've invested in it. I want to hear about like, what was the emotional connection you had with this home? Like, why did you buy this over all the other ones you saw when you were looking? Tell me about the neighbors. Tell me about the community. Tell me about things you like to do in close driving distance to the community. Tell me everything. And that gives us, think about this. Again, I want you guys looking through this broad lens. Who has a hard time writing listing descriptions? These 1 to 2 sentence listing descriptions, you guys, NAR does a lot of research. Look at these buyer and selling guides that NAR puts out. Our listing remarks are really important. And you're just like, oh, it's a great house. Great opportunity. Don't want to miss out on it. But sometimes it's a drag to come up with like new and fresh listing remarks. Let the seller write that for you. Let them write the blog for you. Let them write your YouTube description for you so you can save time, but also develop a much deeper connection with your seller. And I know, like, I talk to so many agents that want to be different, want to set themselves apart from other agents, and they overthink this process. All right. So this is one way you can set yourself apart from any other agent they interview. Like, they didn't ask me all these questions. Like, if we stop thinking about what would happen, I just want you guys, let's just plant a seed right now. What would happen if you stopped talking so much during a listing appointment and started listening? At my event that I hosted in Birmingham, we had one of the speakers said, we listen our way to the sale. We don't talk our way to it. We listen our way to the sale. And we've already talked about in this call that he or she that asks the questions controls the conversation. They don't really care about our stats and stuff like that. Sellers want certainty in the form of confidence. They want you to look them in the eye and go, I got you. I got this. Now tell me all about this house. The best way I can help you is for you to transfer your knowledge of life, what life is like in this home and why it would be important to somebody else. There's a lot of research that shows that the emotional connection that your seller had with that home that led to them purchasing it is going to be the same emotional connection of the next owner. So wouldn't we want to promote that in the form of a blog or a video? I love doing seller interviews with seller interview videos. That a lot of them don't want to do it, but if we don't ask, we don't get. All right, Craigslist, Marketplace, YouTube, and blogging. So I'm going to spend some time with you guys in the field showing you how to shoot a very simple property tour video. So you can start doing that with every listing that comes up. And then we're going to get more advanced with it and start doing some small business owner videos, just lifestyle stuff. Subdivision tour videos is extremely important, y'all. Okay, so go into a subdivision. So you think about this, Devin, you want to sell more homes in Craft Farms? We need a Craft Farms, lifestyle video on your YouTube channel that showcases the golf course, the pools, all the amenities, and also, you're standing on the middle of the street and you're filming the homes on either side of the street. So they want to see what the homes look like, how the neighbors keep their yards up. And heck, this could come into with me. I started adding aerial footage to these. I got a little drone and started filming, some aerial videos, clips to add in with the stuff I was filming with my phone on the ground. All right, that's all I've got for today. Wow, almost an hour and 15 minutes. So I was trying to keep this, what did I say, 45? Anybody got any questions? I'll open it up for questions while we're doing that. Let me just check the chat. All right, anybody got anything? I would highly encourage y'all to reach out to me one-on-one with your questions. I get your brain might be a fried egg right now. You might not have any idea what questions you need to ask. You may have so many questions you don't even know where to start. But this is a good reason to reach out to me one-on-one with those questions, and let's start taking them step by step. But you guys have plenty of homework, plenty of things to do. Get those calendars set in stone, block off your time. With Google, you can set it to repeat. So I can look at your Monday through Friday, and 9 to 11 can be just blocked off Monday through Friday for prospecting. But set those things in stone on your calendar. Go in and deep dive on Boomtown. Continually challenge yourself to learn more about the system. Find people that know the system and work with them. Ask them questions about it. Watch them process their leads. All right. Bert is in an office with a bunch of mentorship team members that are constantly in Boomtown every day. I would embed myself with them. Get on that script call and start doing some research on digital marketing, content creation, and let's start working through some of these projects together. All right. I'll see you guys later. Thank you so much.